What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All the Mod 7 to the Sky. Guys, last episode we set up this fission reactor. This is pretty cool looking. Yeah, I like the way this whole multi-block thing looks. This episode we're actually going to make some use out of it since we can't really do anything with it at the moment. We don't have fuel coming in. We don't have steam that's producing going anywhere. Yeah, we need to, first things first, make the steam turbine that accompanies this, that'll take the steam that this produces, generate power, condense the steam into water that goes right back into our storage tank to complete the loop. Yep, that's what we need to do. So there's quite a bit of things that we need to make in order to make this happen. So let's head back over to the base and we will start making some patterns here so we can do a little bit of auto crafting to make this happen. So one of the first things that we need to do is make the turbine casing. So this thing right here, so this is going to be steel, 4 steel and an osmium ingot for every, well, I guess 1 steel and a quarter of an osmium ingot for every 1 block. So yeah, we need to have this going on here. How much osmium do we have? We have 60,000 of that. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that at all. We also are going to need to make turbine vent. Maybe I just search for turbine so we have all of these things here. Turbine vent, yeah, we're going to need a few of those, so we'll go ahead and do that. We are going to need a pressure disperser. Oh, you know what? It'd help if I search for pressure disperser. It's not turbine. I was like, why am I not seeing it? Yeah, it's because I wasn't searching for the right thing. So yeah, we're going to need turbine blades. These things here, so that's more steel and infused alloy. That's not so bad. We're going to need turbine rotor. Turbine rotor. We're searching for a turbine. Oh, it's this. Is that even an icon? I guess it is. Yeah, it's very faint. It's hard to see there. All right, so yeah, more steel, some more infused alloy. We're gonna need a rotational complex. This guy, what are you? You require advanced control circuit, steel ingot. I probably don't need a recipe for that, but we're just going to go ahead and make a recipe. We're only going to ever make one, I'm pretty sure. Electromagnetic coil. We got a lot of these different parts in here that are going to go together. So energy tablet, gold, and steel. A lot of steel in this, a lot of steel. Turbine valve. We saw that in here. Turbine valve. So more of the turbine casing, advanced control circuit, not a big deal. And then structural glass, that is yet more steel and some glass. So I'm going to go ahead and make a whole bunch of parts here. It's going to take a while to auto craft all this stuff, and we'll be back. All right, guys, so here we go. We have started building the turbine housing here. So we have this, the structure is 18 blocks tall from the base block to this block up here. So it's 18 tall and it's 17 in length and width, right? That's the maximum size that these turbines can be. Now, I was reading something that having it the maximum size might not necessarily be the most efficient, so it might be better to have like multiple smaller ones. I don't know, but we're just going for the maximum size. So I have a turbine valve here. This is how you extract power, I am pretty sure, although it's not connected. And it might just be because a multi-block is not formed. But yeah, we have to do a few things here. So we are using the structural glass. The structural glass is all of the wall that we're using here, and we don't have the ceiling in just yet either, because I kind of wanted to build this thing with you guys so you can kind of see everything that needs to go in this. So for the maximum size, we need to have 14 of these turbine rotors, and they need to be in the exact center of this multi-block structure. So I went ahead and I already found the exact center, placed that first one so we didn't have to do that. And then on the very top of this, 14 of these, we need to have the complex. So we'll place that there. So around the complex, we have to have these pressure dispersers. Yeah. So, and then on the outside of the pressure dispersers, I have placed some turbine vents. I don't actually know if you need those or not. I probably should have looked that up, but yeah, you definitely have to have these pressure dispersers at least around the inside of the rotational complex that is at the very top of the turbine rotors. So we'll go ahead and do this almost all the way. We'll leave it right there for now. So then turbine blades, you have to place on these rotors. The turbine blades, it is 2 per rotor. So this is 14 tall. We need 28 of these. So you just right click those on there. You just right click them at the bottom. It'll just keep placing them all the way up for you. So there you go. There's all of those guys in place. Yep, and that is basically the bottom side of this all done. I guess I do have to come out here. And then we'll finish that up. Place that there. Okay, so everything down below is all done. Now on top of the rotational complex here, in a 3x3, we have to place these electromagnetic coils. Like so. And then we'll leave air everywhere else. And then this top one, we're going to put turbine vents. These turbine vents are how we're going to get the water out of the turbine down here. So when I do this, this should finish the multi-block. Oop, I am missing a block here. I think what I did before is I had this in the center just to designate where the center is. And I think that's why I was missing a block. That and that. Okay, there we go. So everything is now completed. The multi-block is formed. We can right click on it. We can see there's a maximum flow, a capacity, the flow rate, production. We can see statistics. It does say we have 284 events, but it's limiting. I don't know what this means. We have 28 blades, but it's limiting. Does that mean we don't have enough steam in there where the blades are actually doing something? It's very vague what this all means, but I think we should be pretty well set here. So it looks like the internal storage of this holds 33.29 giga FEs, which is pretty cool. And that's about, that's about all we need to see for this thing. So I do know you put steam into this using one of these turbine valves. And I think what we're going to end up doing is using, what do you call them? The quantum entangler-porters. So we can take the steam out of this with a quantum entangler-porter, and then we can just put it into this one using the same kind of a thing. We're teleporting the fluids around. So we need quantum entangler-porter, which we don't have. So at this point, it would probably be a good idea for us to make recipes for those. Unless we want to run pipes everywhere, which I don't really want to do. So quantum entangler-porter, we'll go ahead and make a recipe for this, and looks like we know how to craft all of that stuff. Oh, we're out of patterns. But we have a full stack here. Boom, boom. Okay, so we'll throw that into our system here. Where's this mechanism stuff I just put in right here? Quantum entangler-porter. Let's go ahead and tell the system to craft 10 of those. We're not going to need 10 right now, but we might need a few of them, and I don't know how many we're going to need, so we might as well just craft them all up in bulk. So I'll go ahead and wait for this to finish up, and then we'll continue hooking up our turbine. Right, so those finished up, so we'll place one here. Now we have to change the settings on these things, and there is a lot of things to set. So yeah, you can clear the site configs and then set it up to exactly how you want it to, but yeah, there is a lot of tabs here. So we want to set this for a fluid, and we want, well, I guess I never cleared that. Yeah, so the fluids, we want to have, I believe that's the front. So we want the back of that fluid. That would be this one here to be the output. Auto eject on. Yeah, we'll just set this to steam. That'll be fine. I think that's all we need to do. So this is set to steam, frequency steam. I'm the owner, security public. That's all we need to do. There are upgrades, but the only thing that you can do is put an anchor out here. But I don't think we need to do that since we're using the FTB thing. And we can just claim all of this stuff. I have added the ability for us to do 500 claimed chunks, or I guess forced load chunks. Yeah, so I did modify that a while ago so we could load our whole base. We have way more than what we need, but yeah, it's just kind of silly that that's like the only way to chunk load, and we were limited to like 25 or something. Anyway, so since we're doing that, I can also replace all of these pipes here with quantum entangler-porters as well to ensure that, yeah, the maximum amount of water is going into our turbine or into our reactor. And then we need to have steam coming out, which I don't know if, I know for a fact that quantum entangler-porters have a limit how much fluid or gas they can send at a time. I don't know what that limit is. Like if this thing is making more steam than one quantum entangler-porter can send out. Is steam considered a gas or a fluid in this? I'm not actually sure. I mean, technically steam is a gas. Maybe it's considered a gas in this as well. So maybe we should do this on the bottom as a gas. No, we don't want auto eject. Bottom is the input. And I guess we'll come down here and change this. Hopefully that's correct and we don't have to switch this to fluid, but yeah, I think that should be fine. Okay, so now we have steam coming in that's being warped down there that'll power this. So now we have to deal with getting the fluid in, the fissile fuel, and then we have to get the fluid out and then deal with the spent nuclear waste. Is that what it is? Well, anyway, there's still a little bit more to do. I'll try and get all of this hooked up over here so we can keep the water supply going with the quantum entangled porters, and then we'll be back, guys. Okay, so we now have a quantum entangled porter here that is set to reactor water. We have a quantum entangled porter here set to fissile fuel. This is set directly on top of the machine that is making the fissile fuel, and all of that is coming directly into here. This is a large tank. I don't know exactly how much this holds, but you can see that we have 1,300 buckets and it's only this far down. So yeah, we're probably going to hold something like 13,000 buckets by the time this thing is done, something like that. We have our quantum entangled porter over here. This one's going to be set to steam. I have not done that. So yeah, that's set to steam, and I believe that's gas like we were talking about before. So the input is on the bottom, and that steam should be going into our turbine when we are all set and done. The last thing we need to worry about though is the waste. So nuclear waste is what we get when we burn a fissile fuel in our fission reactor. We get steam and nuclear waste. So we need to either put that into an isotropic centrifuge to turn that into plutonium. We're doing the solar neutron activator, and that is going to take the nuclear waste and turn it into polonium. And that is the stuff that we need to turn into these polonium pellets in order to make the solar recharging unit, right? I don't know if these polonium pellets are used for much else. Looks like there are a few things that you can craft with them, but I'm not sure if we need to do anything with that. I guess if we wanted the mecha suit body armor stuff, we would need those. Yeah, so we are concerned about just getting 3 of this polonium pellets for now. Anyway, we might set this up so we can collect a whole bunch of these. I don't know. But yeah, so this is what we're trying to do. Again, we have to make the solar neutron activator. So that's the next step. So we can craft all of this except for the HDPE sheet. This is what we are missing at the moment. And that comes from 8 HDPE pellets. And that comes from a PRC turning substrate into this with oxygen and ethylene. So yeah, there's quite a bit to this. So let's go set up over at the base to make some HDPE. All right, guys, so we are back down here next to our fissile fuel operation. We have this chemical infuser here. I'm sorry, we have this electrolytic separator here that is producing oxygen and hydrogen. The hydrogen we aren't doing anything with, but we can put the hydrogen over into this machine here, this pressurized reaction chamber. We take a look at the recipe for ethylene. So it's hydrogen plus any Minecraft water, and then biofuel turns it into substrate. And then we get ethylene. We need both substrate and ethylene for the HDPE. So the ethylene is going to be a gas. The gas is going to transfer over into this rotary condensator. And we're going to take the gas and condensatrate it, I guess, into a fluid. Yeah, then the fluid's going to come over into another PRC. And that is where we make the HDPE. So we're going to take liquid ethylene that we're getting out of our rotary condensator. We're going to mix it with oxygen, which I actually have not hooked up yet. And then substrate, which we are extracting out of this machine and putting it over into this one here. Yeah, so I think we're about set up here. Let me just double check this. So this needs oxygen in the back. I did actually open up a port for that, but I never did anything. So I need to grab out of here. I don't think I can, though, with the way this is currently set up. Oh, boy. So we'll bring it back by 1 and then go down. So I need some pressurized tube. We have 15. I don't know if that's going to be enough, so I will just tell the system to make a little bit more while we are connecting some pipes here. So pressurized tubing. Yeah, is that going to make it all the way over here? I have no idea. We'll find out. So that comes down here. We got to make a little kink in it, like our show. And yeah, that's gonna wind up here. Oh yeah, guess we did have enough. All right, that's fine. Just poke a hole so I can actually get back in here. There we go. Very good. So everything should be connected. We need to add this thing, gases from the back, and that's going to be an input. So now we should have oxygen. Okay, and the last little bit, we need to get hydrogen into this whole operation to turn this on. So we'll put some hydrogen there. So we have hydrogen, we have water, biofuel. It's doing a thing. So we just made a substrate. We got a little bit of ethylene. We're condensating that into liquid ethylene. That's coming over here. So now we have oxygen, liquid ethylene. A substrate just went into here and got turned into HDPE pellet. Perfect. Look at that. So everything is happening exactly as we need it. And by the way, the biofuel, I don't think I talked about that. We have a phytogenic insulator here that is taking rose bushes. And we're just making rose bushes. So that gets ejected out of the back into a crusher here. The crusher makes 5 biofuel for every rose bush, and then we're piping out of that into the top of this machine, and that's how we're keeping the biofuel stocked. Okay, so this is our HDPE setup right here. We only needed 8 of these pellets, and we're already done, so that's very good. We needed that so we can make 1 HDPE sheet. So now we're back to the solar neutron activator. So can I craft this? I did not hold down control. I pressed shift. Okay, so all of these things are now being crafted. Very good. Solar neutron activator. Now, the thing that I was wondering about, we have to have an input on the front, and then there's an output on the bottom, if I remember correctly. Let me just stick it like up here. No, is there just one? Where is the output then? I was thinking it was going to be on the bottom like the other machine that's making the fizzle fuel, but I guess that's incorrect. I guess we just don't have a labeled side for that. Okay, well, I'll figure that out later. What I did want to see, though, is the input for this. Is that a gas or a liquid or either? So, ultimate pressurized tube does connect. What about if we connect... not the pressurized. I think it's the mechanical. This one. If we connect that, does that connect? No. So it is a gaseous fuel connection there. Good to know. Where'd this guy go? You got anything good? A sleep charm? Yeah, that's what the last one had. Not good. Alright guys, so our fizzle fuel is reaching a little over halfway now, so that's pretty good. I found out that the machine that we have making the uranium hexafluoride was way underpowered, and in fact it requires something like 250,000 Fe per tick. So I put a point directly on it so we could make this stuff that much faster. But yeah, we're not keeping up with the yellow cake uranium and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, all of that aside, we are using a lot of power for this whole operation here, but this is going to be generating a lot of power, so it's all going to be fine. We got plenty of power stored up in the meantime. So I added in another quantum entangloporter here for nuclear waste. This, in theory, should take the nuclear waste being extracted or being pushed out of the fission reactor. I don't know if it actually pushes it. I might have to put a pipe here to extract it. Well, anyway, it's going to take that stuff and wirelessly send that down here to this quantum entangloporter, nuclear waste, and that is going into all of these pressurized tubes, which are connected to radioactive waste barrels. So you can think of these radioactive waste barrels like a trash can, except instead of putting an item in there and it's immediately deleted, it deletes it slowly over time. Yep. So the way these work is if you have a bunch of them connected to a pipe network or a tube network in this case, it will equally distribute the amount of stuff coming into the pressurized tube between all of these waste barrels, right? So each one of these, if we take a look at waste barrel, I think it says on the description, yeah, decay rate 0.05 millibuckets per tick. So you would need, what is that, 20 of them to delete 1 millibucket per tick worth of waste. I don't remember how many we have here. I think I made 100 and I have like 15 left over. So we got like 85 here or something. So that we have that many right now. If we need more, we can add more. You can only insert into these radioactive waste barrels from the top and the bottom, which means we can fill up this entire layer here on top of these pipes with more of them, which is great. but you can't extract out of these. You can only insert, and they'll only delete over time. And then over here, we have our solar neutron activator, which does not require power. And then in the front here, I have another quantum entangler set to nuclear waste, and we are pushing gas. Well, we're not doing anything yet. We're set to the output for the back. When we get everything set up, we will set this thing to eject automatically to the back, and then I'll put it into this, and we'll make polonium. Yeah. So then we got to take this polonium that we're going to be making here. We're taking a look here, polonium. And then we have to take, this stuff, mix it with fluorite dust, and then we get polonium pellets. We'll also get spent nuclear waste. And we're going to be getting 1 bucket per each one of these pellets. That's 1,000 millibuckets, or I guess 1 bucket of polonium turns into 1 bucket of spent nuclear waste. We'll have to dissipate this as well. I think that is different than this over here. This is going to be nuclear waste, so we'll have to figure this out as we go. But yeah, we only need 3 polonium for right now, so yeah, we can kind of worry about that a little bit later. We'll just go ahead and make 3 buckets of that, and then we'll figure out how to deal with that. Well, anyway, this is our setup for right now. I'm kind of a little afraid to turn this thing on, but I think we are about there. No, we're not. We don't have the return water set up. All right, guys, so we have some return water set up. That's going into that one ultimate pipe right there, which is going into our water tank. And we have one connection over here. Yeah, I'm not sure how this all works. I remember having to do something funky, like these quantum entangler porters can only send so much per channel. So I have set up some channels here to send back recycled water 2, and recycled water 3. Currently, we're only using this one. If that turns out to not be enough, then we can add in the other ones. I've already set up over here the receiving end over here, so we have recycled water 2 and 3 coming back. So anyway, we're going to try this out. I think we should be set up right now to just turn this thing on and give it a go and make sure things are working. So right now we have a rate limit set to 0.1 millibuckets per tick. So that's like the lowest we can turn this thing on. This should be safe to turn on and leave on for like a minute or two. We should be able to see if we're making steam, if we're making waste, where things are going, if they're going anywhere, all this kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and just activate this. The temperature is going up. And yes, we are making nuclear waste, and it does not look like that's going anywhere. So is our turbining? Doesn't look like it. Our coolant is staying full. Okay, so it turns out you cannot send nuclear material through the quantum entangler porter, so I messed up on that. But we got this sorted. So instead of using a quantum entangler porter, we're just running, well, I guess I can get rid of this now. We are just running a ultimate pressurized tube all the way over here and then down. I guess I could straighten this pipe out, but yeah, that's the center point there. So that's why we went up during this point and then go over to that. Anyway, so yeah, this is set up. I got rid of all the nuclear waste barrels because I didn't want to take the nuclear waste that we made and turn it into something else. We want to turn that into polonium, right? So yeah, we had the nuclear waste come into here, and as I was changing settings on this, it pushed the polonium that it made back into this pipe, and now it's over into here. I don't know if we can extract out of this to use it or not. Maybe we probably can. I don't know. Anyway, it's in this. I don't think I can destroy this barrel. It'll release that polonium into the atmosphere. So what we're going to do with this, I don't know at this point. Okay, well, that's where we're at right now. So I guess I can turn this thing back on. The nuclear waste will end up into this, and this should be making polonium, which it looks like it is. We have 1 millibucket, 2 millibuckets. Okay, yeah, things are happening, so that's fine. We're doing something with the nuclear waste. I guess we could try turning this on higher. I guess let's try set the limit rate to 1. We'll be very careful that nothing's going on. Oh, look at all these particles over here. So the water is staying fine. That's good to see. Is it staying fine over here too? Nope, we are going down for sure. So something's wrong. All right, so I have figured out what the problem is. And the problem was we had empty space up here. Yeah, there was one more block that we needed between our pressure disperser and the top of this. That is the saturating condenser. Yes, so we were missing saturating condensers. When we go into the turbine statistics, I looked at this and it said max water output 0 millibuckets per tick. But now it says that we have 13,824,000, so 13,824 buckets per tick max water output. That's what we were missing, and that's why we weren't keeping up on the water, because that was all messed up before. I did go ahead and I refilled this. We can turn this off now, so let's set this fluids eject off. Yeah, so this is the water coming from our sink, and then these are the water coming from the turbine is how that should be. So let's turn this back on. We're going to set this back to 0.1. We'll turn this back on. So now that we have things going, are we seeing anything different? Not seeing anything different here. We have no steam coming in, and we're not producing power. Anything happening over here? No. Waste heated coolant tank. I don't see any steam. Maybe we gotta wait for this to get to a certain temperature before we see steam. I don't really remember how this works. Actually, let's just go ahead and set this to 1. Okay, so heating rate is there. Okay, it says we have steam now, and we don't see steam in this one. So that means, yes, we have water right there, and the water should be coming back into this pipe, keeping this full. Okay, let's take a look. So this is set to recycled water. Fluids, bottom, auto eject. So we should be recycling water. Is this pipe's filling up or what's going on? No, this pipe says air in it. So I think what's going on is we are not extracting enough water is the problem. So after spending, I don't know how long on this, trying to figure out what was going wrong, I finally figured it out. So I disassembled the turbine. I tried making it half size to see if that made it any better. Yeah, I was trying all sorts of different things here. But as it turns out, this button right here was set to dumping. And what that does was dump the steam that we were making here. So only part of the steam was actually being turned into power. And part of that steam that was being turned into power was turning into water, and we were only getting a few millibuckets coming through these different quantum entangled porters. But as you can see now, they're quite full. Our reactor here is staying full, no problem. Our tank over here is staying full. I was trying all sorts of things to make this better, so I got rid of the quantum entangled porter for the return water, and we just went straight to a pipe. I put in a whole bunch more of the dynamic valves on top of here. Like, I was trying literally everything. Turns out it was just this silly little button. We have it set up now. We have a turbine that's working. And check this out, guys. This is ridiculous. We're making 1.2 million FE per tick right now. Yes, 1.2 million FE per tick. This is, if we go to the stats, we're at 15 millibuckets per tick. For the burn rate, we can go up to 1,582 millibuckets per tick. And we're making 1.2 million FE per tick right now. Yes, that is really good. One thing I did notice over here, though, I switched our pipe. So all this stuff is going into the radioactive waste barrels. You can see all of these stay empty. And we take a look at this one in particular right here, though. This one's filling up. I don't understand why it's doing that, but this pipe network has decided this is the radioactive waste barrel. Yeah, I don't understand it. But we can take some pressurized tube. We can come out the bottom of this thing, and we can kind of loop this back around into itself, and then tell this to extract. Let me switch this over to gases. Then we shift right click. Now we're extracting out of that one. And yeah, now we have distributed it to all of the other nuclear waste barrels, and you can see it's all being depleted now. The numbers are going down, and that's what we want to see. I don't know why it decides to fill up this one in particular, but when we extract out of that one, send it back to the pipe, then it distributes properly. Just some weird little quirk here. I don't know. Again, we're gonna have to play around with this some more, but for now, we have a working turbine. We're making a lot of power. We don't have to worry about power now. And we have collected a little over 4 buckets worth of polonium, which we need to turn into the polonium pellets. But for today, guys, we are going to wrap it up. I have a backpack on my back. Have I always had a backpack on my back? Not actually sure. I have a diamond backpack right here. Maybe I put it there and I forgot about it. Well, anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like on this episode if you like it, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.